My wife got drunk at her sister's birthday and admitted she was never attracted to me. She married me because I was safe, and her parents approved, all while secretly trying to reconnect with her college ex. So, Clara and I have been hitched for 8 years now, and we've got 2 fantastic kids, a 6-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. We bumped into each other back in college, thanks to some mutual pals, and kicked things off in our junior year. Clara was this super outgoing chatterbox who seemed to know just about everyone on campus, while I was more of the nerdy keep-to-myself type, with my nose buried in engineering books and not much into the whole party scene. She was all about business studies, but somehow we just clicked, even though we were pretty different. At the start of our dating days, everything felt amazing. I honestly thought I had hit the jackpot because Clara was drop-dead gorgeous and super popular. She could have had her pick of any guy, but she chose little old me. I used to think she appreciated that I wasn't like her previous boyfriends, who she hinted were all cut from the same cloth. She didn't really elaborate on what that meant, though. College was a breeze relationship-wise. We were always hanging out, studying, and chilling with friends. Sure, she got moody or distant at times, but I chalked it up to typical ups and downs everyone deals with. After college, we both snagged jobs in the same city and moved in together. That's when I started noticing a few things that threw me off. First, she didn't seem all that interested in getting physical. I mean, we were intimate, but something seemed off, like she was just going through the motions. I brought it up a couple of times, but she blamed it on being exhausted from work or stressed out, insisting it wasn't me. I wanted to believe her and hoped things would settle down as we got into a groove. Then there was the weirdness with people from our college days, especially guys she knew back then. It happened once at a restaurant. She saw someone and got visibly antsy, trying to dodge eye contact. When I asked about it, she brushed it off, saying it was nobody, but I wasn't buying it. Also, Clara's folks were a huge deal for her. They had these old-school ideas about what makes a good hubby and dad, so she was always fussing over whether I matched up. She'd even give me pointers on what to say at family dinners. It seemed sweet at first, but now I think she was more about making them happy than figuring out what she wanted. So I popped the question after we'd been shacking up for 2 years. She said yes, but something felt off. Her reaction was more, "Oh, neat," than, "Oh my gosh, yay." When we announced our engagement, she was all business about the wedding planning rather than love and excitement. Her parents took over the wedding prep, and Clara went along with whatever they wanted, even when it wasn't quite her style. The wedding day was a hit, but Clara looked more relieved than head over heels happy. On our honeymoon, she relaxed a bit but still seemed distant, and I started thinking maybe she just wasn't that into me. The first years of marriage rolled by pretty smoothly. We found our rhythm, working, chilling with friends, spending time with family. On the surface, things appeared normal. We bought a house and started chatting about kids, and Clara seemed all in. When she got pregnant with our first, she was over the moon, and I thought kids might be the glue that'd make us stronger. Kids sure change things, but not how I hoped. Clara was an awesome mom, but we grew more distant. She was always too tired for date nights, and they'd often be cut short. I voiced my concerns, but Clara would say raising young kids is tough, and things would improve as they grew up. She'd also call me selfish for wanting more of her time when she was juggling so much already, and I felt guilty for speaking up. Fast forward about 6 months ago, and things really went downhill. Clara was glued to her phone a lot, chatting away or scrolling social media. Whenever I asked, it was always her sister or some work friend. She started going out more, coming back super late, and she'd be in the kind of mood I hadn't seen in ages. I didn't want to come off as the suspicious husband, so I didn't dig deeper, but something felt fishy. Her style began to change too, and when I'd compliment her, she'd shrug it off, saying she just wanted to look after herself better. 3 months back, we had a massive argument over something stupid, and she dropped a bombshell saying she felt like we were just roommates with kids and that she was unhappy. My heart stopped because I had no clue she felt that way. When I asked how to fix things, she suggested counseling, but never followed through. Whenever I'd bring it up, she'd be too busy or needed more time to process everything. 2 months ago, I stumbled on her browsing apartments online. When I confronted her, she said she was just curious. No real plans to move out, just daydreaming about what it'd be like living elsewhere. I wasn't buying it, and it sparked another row about honesty and communication. Last month, things reached a breaking point at her sister's birthday party. Clara got way too drunk, more than I'd ever seen, and I was trying to get her to slow her roll. Her brother-in-law pulled me aside, asking if everything was cool, since Clara had been venting to his wife about feeling stuck in our marriage. I put on a brave face, said we were working through it, but inside I was in full panic mode, not knowing she'd been sharing our struggles. Then Clara went on this emotional roller coaster, showering love and gratitude to everyone, which I brushed off as drunken mush. But then she brought up her college boyfriend, calling him her true love, how she couldn't shake thinking about him. I was trying to get her to stop, suggesting we leave, but she went on, saying Dale, this ex of hers, truly understood her, and she regretted letting him go. Everyone got uncomfortable, and despite her sister's efforts to change the subject, Clara was on a roll. She then eyed me and dropped another bomb. She was never truly attracted to me, married me for stability and family approval, and thought she could eventually love me like she did Dale, but it never happened. It felt like my world crumbled right there, hearing her admit she settled for a life that wasn't what she wanted. It was a wild, unexpected confession that left me grappling with our entire relationship. So, Clara totally dropped a bomb on me, saying she felt like she was living a lie. She admitted she'd been trying to track down this guy Dale on social media and even reached out to him a few weeks back to see if he wanted to catch up. I was in shock, couldn't breathe, and everyone at the party was just staring. I had no clue what to do. Somehow, I got Clara into the car and drove her home. She passed out in the passenger seat and didn't wake up until the next morning. When she did, she had a terrible hangover and claimed she didn't remember a thing from the night before. She asked why I looked so upset, so I spilled everything she said. Clara went pale, started crying, and said she was sorry, claiming she was drunk and didn't mean any of it. She begged me not to take it seriously, saying alcohol makes people say crazy, untrue things. But I could tell from her face that she remembered, and at least some of it was true. I asked her about Dale, wondering if she really tried to contact him. She admitted she'd looked him up and sent a message, but said he never responded, and it was just a moment of weakness. She swore she loved me and wanted to make our marriage work, but it felt like she was just saying what she thought I wanted to hear. Since then, I've been crashing in the guest room, and we've barely talked except about kids and household stuff. Clara tries to bring it up and wants to chat about it all, but I'm not ready, and I'm not sure if I ever will be. Every time I see her, I hear those words again about how she was never really into me and settled because I was the safe choice. It makes me sick. The worst part is, it now all makes sense. Anytime she seemed distant or uninterested, or when she acted weird around people from college, or when she cared more about appearances than what she wanted, it all adds up to someone who wasn't really happy, but maybe too scared to do anything about it. I keep thinking about our kids and how a divorce would affect them, but I also don't know how to stay with someone who's been pretending to love me for 8 years. It feels like our whole relationship was based on a lie, and I'm not sure there's any coming back from that. Clara tries to keep things normal with the kids, but they sense something's off. They keep asking why Mom and Dad aren't in the same room anymore, or why we don't talk like before. I'm trying to keep things normal for them, but it's tough when I can barely be in the same room as Clara. I also can't stop thinking about this Dale guy, wondering who he is and if Clara is still trying to reach him. I looked him up, and honestly, he seems like a decent guy, always posting pics of himself traveling in restaurants or at events, and I get why Clara might find him more exciting than me. I keep wondering if she's comparing us and wishing she'd made different choices. Am I wrong for wanting to leave my wife after she confessed she was never really into me and only married me because I was the safe option? Sure, she was drunk, but I've heard that drunk words are just sober thoughts out loud, and I don't think I can get past knowing how she really feels. Update. First off, thanks to everyone who commented on my original post. Reading your responses really helped me come to terms with the fact that I'm not crazy for being upset. A lot of folks mentioned that being drunk doesn't make you say things that aren't true. It just makes you say things you usually keep inside. That really hit home for me. After posting, I decided I needed to have a serious talk with Clara about our marriage and everything she said that night. I waited until the kids were at school, asked her to sit in the living room with me, and told her we needed to talk. She immediately started crying and apologizing again, saying she was sorry for hurting me and didn't mean it. But I stopped her and said I needed her to be honest for once. I told her I deserved to know the truth about her feelings and our marriage, and if we had any chance of moving forward, she had to stop lying and making excuses. She finally admitted she'd never felt the same physical attraction to me as she had for Dale and other college boyfriends. When we started dating, she hoped that attraction would grow, but it didn't. She also admitted she married me partly because her parents liked me and thought I would be a good provider and father, and their approval mattered to her then. She convinced herself that attraction wasn't the most important thing, that our friendship and compatibility were worth more. The hardest part to hear was when she said she started to resent me for not being more like her exes, who were adventurous, spontaneous, and exciting. She knew it wasn't fair to blame me for being me, but she felt she missed out by settling down with me. I asked her about Dale, and she got defensive, saying it was a stupid mistake or a midlife crisis or something. But when I pressed further, she admitted she'd been thinking about him for months before reaching out and even fantasized about what life would have been like if they'd stayed together. She sent him a Facebook message saying she was thinking about him and asked if he wanted to catch up. She checked obsessively for a response and admitted that if he'd responded positively, she probably would have met up with him, even though she knew it would be wrong. Hearing all this felt like getting punched in the face repeatedly. But I'm glad I know the truth now. I asked her if she wanted to work on our marriage or get divorced. She said she didn't know and was confused about what she wanted. I told her I needed time to think, so I planned to stay at my brother's for a bit. She cried and begged me not to leave, but I needed space to process everything. Staying with my brother ended up being really helpful. He and his wife were super supportive, letting me vent without judgment, and making me realize I deserve someone who actually wants to be with me. Staying in a marriage where I was just the safe choice wasn't fair to either of us. When I came back home, Clara and I talked again, and I told her I thought we should get divorced. She was shocked, saying we could work things out with counseling and she was willing to try harder. But I told her I didn't think therapy could fix the fact that she wasn't attracted to me and never was. She argued attraction wasn't everything, and we should save our marriage for the kids. But I said I didn't want to spend my life with someone who saw me as a consolation prize. Our kids deserve to see a healthy relationship, and staying together for their sake might do more harm than good. The conversation got heated, and she accused me of giving up too easily, not wanting to fight for our family. But I told her I'd been fighting for our relationship for years, without realizing she didn't want the same things. It wasn't fair to ask me to keep fighting when she'd checked out emotionally long ago. Now, we're figuring out the logistics of separation so things have been kind of a roller coaster lately. One minute, Clara is super mad at me for wanting a divorce, and the next, she's all sad and sorry about how things turned out. Sometimes she acts like the whole divorce idea is all on me, and I'm being totally unreasonable. And other times she breaks down crying, begging me to give us another shot. It's tough because, honestly, I still have feelings for her, even though I know she doesn't feel the same. 8 years of marriage and having 2 kids together isn't something that just fades away overnight, you know? Sometimes I catch myself wondering if I'm making a huge mistake by choosing to leave. I've started searching for my own apartment and working on a custody plan that makes sense for everyone. Clara doesn't want me to move out. She keeps suggesting we try separation counseling. But I feel like that would just drag things out and make them more difficult for everyone involved. It's all just really sad, and I honestly feel bad for our kids who are caught in the middle. But at the same time, I feel like I've finally figured out what I need and want in a relationship. I deserve to be with someone who chooses me because they truly want to, not because I'm the safe option or the one their parents approve of. I know some people might think I'm being too harsh or that I should try harder to save my marriage, but you can't force someone to feel that spark or love you the way you love them. Clara made her choice 8 years ago when she married me despite not being all that into me. And now I'm making my choice to find someone who will actually want to be with me. Fast forward to now, and it's been about a month since my big decision. I wanted to update everyone because things have taken some unexpected turns that I didn't see coming. I found a new apartment and moved out about 3 weeks ago. It's been a tough adjustment for all of us. The kids are staying with Clara during the week and spend weekends with me, and they're struggling to understand why Mom and Dad aren't living together anymore. My daughter keeps asking when I'm coming home, and my son has been acting out at school, which is completely new for him. Clara and I are trying to figure out this co-parenting thing, but it's still awkward and tense whenever we have to communicate. She keeps swinging between being angry with me and trying to get me to come back, which is just emotionally draining. Then, about 2 weeks ago, something I didn't expect happened. I was at a store near my apartment and ran into Dale, Clara's old boyfriend from college. At first, I was caught off guard, but we ended up chatting for about 20 minutes. He seemed like a really decent guy, not the exciting person Clara made him out to be. He's pretty laid back, works as an accountant, and lives alone. He said he'd seen Clara's message from a few months ago, but hadn't responded because he's in a serious relationship now. He also mentioned that their college fling wasn't anything serious. They dated casually for about 6 months, and he was the one who broke it off. Hearing this was eye-opening because Clara had worked up this whole fantasy about Dale being the one that got away, which clearly wasn't true. It made me realize she had been basing so much on something that wasn't real. I didn't share our current situation with Dale because it didn't seem right, but after we said goodbye, I was left with a mix of relief and sadness. I even started to wonder if leaving was the right call and thought about suggesting counseling to Clara. But then, the next weekend when I had the kids, Clara did something that reminded me exactly why I left. I dropped them off on Sunday, and she invited me in for coffee, starting to talk about how much she missed having me around. She said she realized she had taken me for granted, and she's been seeing a therapist who helped her understand her own commitment issues and fear of missing out. For a second, I almost believed we could work it out, until she mentioned she's never felt the same kind of attraction to me as she has for other guys, but that she was willing to try and develop it. That was a big red flag for me. I want someone who is with me because they genuinely want to be, not because they're trying to force feelings. We ended up having a big argument, and I left more convinced than ever that I made the right choice. I kept thinking about her trying to work on her attraction. which made me realize I'd been settling. Only 32, I don't want to spend the rest of my life with someone who sees being with me as a chore. I want someone who's genuinely excited about being with me. Now I'm focused on settling into my new place, getting a routine going with the kids, and figuring out what I want for the future. I'm hitting the gym more, reconnecting with old friends, and starting to feel like myself again. The divorce is moving forward, and Clara and I are using a mediator for custody and financial arrangements. She's still hoping I'll come back, but I think she's starting to realize this is real. Her family keeps calling, trying to convince me to reconsider, but I've told them this is between Clara and me. My family has been super supportive, saying they saw I wasn't truly happy, even though I was trying to make the best of it. My mom even admitted she had her doubts about Clara being the right match for me, but didn't say anything back then. It's wild to think others saw problems in my marriage before I did. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you.